joining us now is Okpe, with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinika.
Good morning, Dr.
It's time for you to take charge.
As always.
Take charge.
I love your green tie. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine.
Great. Good morning, Adesua. You look lovely today.
Thank you.
Great. Good morning, Rufai. How are you?
You look great today. Thank you.
Yes, she always does.
I don't feel it, but thank you. Well, good morning to you, viewers.
Oji, this your hair. Is this straight bone?
Bone straight.
Or bone straight? Anyway, don't worry. Take charge.
That's
Take
bone
charge.
straight. This is wavy.
Take charge.
Thank you. Well, good morning to you, viewers. We begin What's Trending with an article from London's Financial Times newspaper titled Nigeria at Risk of Becoming a Failed State. The article, which has generated a lot of controversy on social media, described Nigeria as a country going backwards economically and plagued with terrorism, poverty, banditry, and kidnapping. The article referenced the kidnapping and subsequent rescue of over 300 boys in Kankara, Katsina State, and defined Buhari's administration as a government who no longer has control over its nation. It added that the claim by the government that no ransom was paid to the abductors of the schoolboys remains doubtful. It further advised the Buhari administration to use the remainder of its term to redouble efforts at improving security. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has come under intense criticism for saying only God can effectively supervise the border Nigeria shares with the Republic of Niger. The president, in a statement issued by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ifeanyi Okowa, was quoted to have said that Nigeria shares more than 1,400 kilometers of border with Niger, which only can be effectively supervised by God. He made this comment while receiving the former vice president of Nigeria, Namadi Sambo, who now heads ECOWAS election mission on Niger Republic at the presidential villa in Abuja on Tuesday. It's quite damning, some of the rhetoric that we see coming out of, government officials. I mean, I would need some more clarity on how God can supervise the border. I mean, there's so many ways, there's so many measures to, talk about the security in Nigeria or the border security across the globe. Usually it's not by spiritual interference.
Mm-hmm. Well, indeed. But there's nothing bad in acknowledging God's omnipresence quality, that God can be everywhere and he can oversee and protect. That is good. But it also points to the fact that the president has admitted that there is a huge problem. And I hope that what I'm about to say does not, offend the spiritual sensibilities of Nigerians, because bandits and criminals also pray to God, that it would help them, oversee their operations. But seriously speaking, now that the president has acknowledged once again that our borders are porous and that, it's a huge challenge, I would like to ask, what has happened to the 52 billion naira e-border project that was approved by the FEC in 2019 that was supposed to help, secure 86 borders and 1,400 illegal crossings? What has happened to that project? Rufai mentioned this earlier. Technology is there. God gives you technology, so we can use technology. I mean, God all the time. Yes, but God did not come down to do it. It's appalling. And then what are we doing with the consensus relationship we have with neighboring countries, with Niger, with Cameroon? Yes, there's a multinational joint task force that is helping to fight insurgency. But beyond that, what are we doing to ensure that these bandits and criminals don't run in and out anyhow? And I think that Dr. Bati may know a bit more about it, because during the Goodluck Jonathan administration, I recall that there was this synergy between Nigerian administration and the Nigerian government about, border security, so that the insurgents and the bandits do not run in and run out whenever they like. And that works. That helps secure the border. So we can't always call on God all the time. Sometimes I think we rely too much on God. But again, to the second story
the first
you read,
story, Financial Times.
I would not like to look at the messenger. I want to look at the message. Forget that this is coming from Financial Times. Let's look at the indices that they mentioned. Is it new? Is there anything?
Well, absolutely not. They touch on different things,
exactly.
though, and what really hit me was the fact that, we all know that Nigeria has the highest out-of-school children on earth. It is
rated the poverty capital of the world. We've had series of kidnappings, so there's nothing new the Financial Times is really talking about. But there is time for us to turn around this rhetoric. 2023 is approaching. A lot of people are talking about where the president should come from. But I think that the conversation is not. The conversation should be about these indices. Political parties should be engaging in these conversations. They should be the major talking points.
And not a foreign newspaper.
Turn this around.
Correct. Dr. Bati.
Well, I think in both stories, we're dealing with an issue with the headlines. Oftentimes, we just take the headlines and we run with it, but the content of the story may be different. Yes, I agree absolutely that, in Nigeria, when we seem to be helpless, we call on God because we're very religious people. But as Rufai was saying earlier, heavens help those who help themselves. So if the president says, look, only God can cover the stretch of 1,500 kilometers border with Niger, I would rather say, well, that's the headline that the papers and other media houses gave it. But he too was expressing concern, and that perhaps, in my view, is an acknowledgement of the challenge of border policing. Now, apart from acknowledging it, we expect government to go a step further, and that realization that there's a problem with our borders perhaps explains why government in August last year shut down the land borders, and 4 of those land borders have now been reopened. So government needs to do a lot more. People have talked about infrastructure. They've talked about, automation of our borders. And in particular, that 1,400 kilometers is really very porous, between Nigeria and Niger, just as the smaller stretch between Nigeria and, Cameroon, and also between Nigeria and Benin Republic are porous. But however, there were bigger issues that the president talked about that I think we can focus on. He was receiving former Vice President Namadi Sambo, who is leading an ECOWAS delegation to observe Niger's election on December 27th, this Sunday, right? And that's a very significant thing, because in the course of that encounter, the president talked about security in the Sahel region. And Niger is also very strategic to our own security interests here. Niger's democracy is also something of interest. This will be the first time that Niger will be having, a civilian-to-civilian transition. And President Muhammadu Buhari used the opportunity to praise President Muhammadu Yusufu, who has done 2 terms and has refused to amend the constitution to stay on. That was a part of the statement that the president made that I thought should be of interest, because political stability within the region is very important. And if you look at what is happening in Niger, they have about 30 candidates, but only 4 of them are prominent. And the person that is leading appears to be the person from the president's party, the Nigerian Party for Democracy and Socialism, NDS. But they also have tension, which should be of interest to people in ECOWAS, because the candidate, Amadou, former Prime Minister Amadou, the Constitutional Court ruled last month that he's ineligible because he had been sentenced to a 1-year imprisonment at a time, and it was for child trafficking. And he says that was politically motivated. The Constitutional Court now says it cannot be on the ballot. So there are issues in Niger that should be of interest to us. The insecurity that the president alluded to, but there are also issues of poverty, issues of political tension in Niger. And that election is an election that we should watch very closely. That's more important to me than the point about, the president referencing God. Clearly, we have a border problem. Again, with Financial Times, I said again that, we look at the headline. If you look at that editorial by Financial Times yesterday, yes, Nigeria is close to the brink, something like that. Yeah, that excites people. But in terms of content, what the editorial is saying basically is that there are issues in Nigeria. The economy is battered. We have population challenges. The editorial says by the year 2050 will be about 400 million. If we do not address it, we will have issues. He talked about the Kankara boys, the security challenges in the country, banditry, kidnapping. Now, that's stating the obvious. We all know that. But for me, the big takeaway is the fact that it is saying the Nigerian government, the Buhari government, needs to do a lot more.
Yes.
And that's what we too are saying here in Nigeria. So I don't see anything that is earth-shaking about that editorial. I mean, the Failed States Index for 2020 puts Nigeria at number 15 out of 177.
That's really
the Fragile States Index puts Nigeria at number 14 out of 178. And these are reports, 2020 reports that have been there. So the Financial Times, as far as I'm concerned, that's a standard editorial, the kind of thing that a newspaper here could have written. But I think it's balanced because it also acknowledges the fact that Nigeria's democracy is relatively stable.
Yeah.
But the government needs to do a lot more to deliver. That's our expectation also, isn't it?
Right. Rufai, your take on the Financial Times story, is it?
I would just even take a swipe at Nigerians. It's so easy for you people to abuse us journalists here and all of that. But these are the things we've been saying before that the Financial Times just writing. So why is there a hula baloo? Is it because it's the Financial Times that wrote it? If you check back page of every newspaper in Nigeria, they've written extensively about these subjects over and over again. Just because it's the Financial Times, everybody's running everywhere. I'm not saying those issues are not valid, but why do we have this colonial mentality? The Financial Times said it now, it makes sense. Other Nigerian newspapers have been saying it. Premier Times did a very good report.
Well, I don't think it's the fact that it makes sense. It's just the fact that
you know, I know those I'm speaking with, and those I'm speaking with know themselves, OG. Because now it's so easy to bandy around. The Financial Times has said this. What's the big deal about the Financial Times? I mean, they've said those issues. It's on ground already. I'm just saying invariably, we should learn to respect our media too. Good columnists, like Dr. Ruben Abati said there, and other great columnists in this country, write these things at the back page every day. Right. There is nothing the Financial Times said that is even better than what Dr. Ruben Abati writes at the back page of his column on this day every Tuesday. You read that, that's a very good column. What I'm just trying to say is this. We have problems on ground. The problems are there. We can't deny the problems. We keep reiterating the problems. If nothing is done about it, we pray the country doesn't go under. But is there a path to recovery? Yes. There's a path to recovery through effective leadership. If leaders take the bull by the horn and they're truly honest and transparent. We've cited the case of state capture. Most billionaires in this country is a result of rent seeking. We need to be able to change the paradigm. The economy needs to work for everybody. We need to fix our problem. Out of school children, which the government bandied around that said, school feeding program was going to help. While the school was on lockdown, we still did full school feeding program.
Exactly.
So those are the shocking things about the country. Right. It's just that some people, it has gotten to a time in this country that corruption is senseless. People eat what they can't finish eating the next 10 generations. COVID palliatives, they looted it bland and dry. It just gets to a stage that you need to ask ourselves, like Mahatma Gandhi would say, the world has enough to meet human needs, not human greed. When are we going to stop this greed? I just hope when these people stop this greed, this country will get back on its feet. Nigeria can be fixed in the next 10, 15 years. You see, all of this restructuring talk we are talking is because of the insincerity that is paramount among government and the people and the mistrust. If there's a mistrust index, I'm sure it's very sky high in this country. That's why people are calling for restructuring. Because when we even had a regional system, the talk then, it was about the leaders. It was about how committed those leaders were. That's why we thought a regional system worked better, a closer government to the people worked better. When we see how the federal structure under the likes of Sam Mbakwe, he built airports. He did the best things for people. People still talk about Lateef Jakonde. That was a federal structure. It was not changed. It's the normal structure. It's the quality of the leaders we should improve upon. So there's nothing new Financial Times is saying. Because Financial Times now will now go out and say they conducted the extensive intelligence research on Nigeria to bring out that reports. We do it here every single day.
All right. We'll take another story. There's been outrage over the killing of a mother of 4 and the shooting of a young man by members of a police unit, Operation Delta Hawk, inaugurated barely a week ago by the Delta State Governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, to fight crime in the state. A video circulating online showing a young man lamenting over the incident has provoked the hashtag #EndDeltaHawk. Let's take a look.
What do we do? What do we do? Why? Asaba, Delta Hawk, why, Siam? You waste away, woman. You waste away, mother. A mother, you waste away, mother. Why? Why police? Nigeria police, why? Why?
So I had to highlight the story. I am so outraged by the situation. I mean, apparently these people are just going around shooting people. What is this all about?
Absolutely, and anybody should be outraged. I mean, losing a mother of four.
Four children.
Four children. And that's how we create unnecessary social-cultural issues for ourselves. I've come to the conclusion that we are just a trigger-happy, shooting nation. You put guns in the hands of those who are meant to secure lives and property, and then they turn around and kill needlessly those they are supposed to protect. I think it points to the fact that we do not conduct extensively, going in the line of Rufai targeting Financial Times. We do not conduct extensively, proper checks on those we employ to secure our nation. Do we check their mental state before we put guns into their hands? Because I do not understand how you shoot a mother of four.
This woman was clearly unarmed, and she was left to bleed to death at this point. And this is outrageous.
You cannot convince me otherwise that those are mentally stable individuals that have done this. It is sad.
Well, I agree with you that this is outrageous. It's horrible. I mean, no form of police brutality is acceptable, and no form of extrajudicial killing is acceptable, whatever the provocation may be. And it's unfortunate that this is coming on the heels of a recent protest by concerned Nigerians, young Nigerians, about police brutality. At that time, it was #EndSARS. And this was the kind of thing that concerned Nigerians, were pointing to.
Correct.
To say that indiscriminate killing of citizens cannot be part of the responsibility of people who have been, engaged to protect the same people. Now, this is particularly unfortunate because you recall that that Operation Delta Hawk is, something that the governor of the state, Dr. Okowa, invested in a lot. In May, when there were cases of farmers-herders conflict around Abraka, and there was a spike in kidnappings and, challenges of security in Delta State, the governor had, proposed the idea of a joint security task force.
Correct.
And that's why it's important to know who exactly is involved. Is it the police? Is it another arm of, the security outfit that was set up, in Delta State? And it took him quite a number of months. He kept saying he needed to make sure that the people who would operate under Operation Delta Hawk would be well equipped, including making sure that they are provided with body armor. So when I saw this story, and I said, this same Operation Delta Hawk that was specially created, put together, supported by the governor, and in fact, the governor said it will go on stream, they will become operational before Christmas. I don't even think this Operation Delta Hawk as a special unit, I don't think they are up to a month yet.
It's just 1 week, Dr. Abbas.
Just 1 week.
Just a week.
Because the governor was talking about before Christmas.
No, yes.
And then this has happened.
Correct.
So it must really sadden the governor because this was supposed to be a well-meaning, specially supported, equipped unit of the task force in Delta State. And I think I would like to call on the governor himself, to take personal interest in this matter and to get the truth of it and to ensure that whoever is behind this extrajudicial killing is brought to book.
Correct.
That will not bring back the dead, and we commiserate with the family, but it's most unfortunate and it is unacceptable, and every step must be taken to make sure that justice is done.
Correct. Rufai, if you recall, the catalyst, the EndSARS protest, was a shooting of a young man in Delta State. And now, this.
The shooting of a young man that was said to be a fake story. Was that it?
It wasn't a fake story. He was shot.
Was he shot? But did he die?
No, he did not die, but he was shot.
Because I know there was some back and forth as regards the veracity of the story. But that apart, other people have died as a result of NSAS. Yesterday was a very sobering moment for me. Kolade Johnson's story was called forth at the Lagos Judicial panel, and it was quite very sobering. We all remember when the story broke a couple of, I think about last year or thereabout, 2019, when Kolade Johnson was killed, and to many other people that have died as a result of this. This should be investigated. And I'm happy that the State Panel of Inquiry is still on in Delta State. This should be investigated. And if anybody is found guilty, they should face the full wrath of the law. And in fact, they should make them as examples in society. We can't keep having this. What you are inviting is anarchy. If you say because you have guns in your hands, what you're inviting is anarchy. And let me put a caveat here. I'll quote a character from a Jamaican movie called Third World Cup. His name is Ratty. He says, guns don't kill people, people kill people. It was a person that killed a fellow human being, not the gun. And if we keep doing this, you push society to a point where it will push back. If you remember Frantz Fanon in his book, The Wretched of the Earth, he went ahead to say, oppressed people will only start to oppress other people. And we should be very careful. So this should be investigated full on, should be taken to the panel. I think the Police Service Commission should come into this. Right. They have the right to do this. They should come into this. National Human Rights Commission should pick this up. All hands must be on deck. Civil society should start firing letters as regards this. We must get justice. We must get due compensation after full investigation has been done. They need to weigh both sides. But this is a sad affront on our future in this country. We can't keep killing people with no reason possible. We can't keep killing people. Very sad one. Right. And this is the time to end police brutality once and for all. It has to be said, if police did this.
We'll take another story. With exactly 2 days to this year's Christmas celebration, the Cross River State government, under the leadership of Ben Ayade, has launched its poultry processing factory called Calachika. The governor said the poultry farm is conceived to be the biggest of its kind in the south-south region of Nigeria, with a production capacity of 22,000 birds per hour. Let's take a listen.
Our own Cross River Poultry Processing Factory, which takes live, fresh chicken, process it, and take it direct to homes. So I'm calling on all Cross Riverians. As you can see at my background, this is chicken that was just processed today. It's live few minutes ago. It's not frozen chicken that you bring from abroad. You don't know how much of formalin has been injected into it. You take embalming agents that they give to dead bodies, they inject it onto chicken and fly them into Africa. When you start having diseases of unknown origin, you won't know where it's coming from. So it's not frozen. It comes to you fresh, from the farm to the factory, from the factory to your kitchen. I am happy that finally this factory is up and running. But the greatest news is that we need close to 2,000 poultry farmers, 2,000 young men and women who can own farms that can give us at least 5,000 chicken every 2 weeks. That makes you a millionaire. This is what is called industrialization.
Adesua last night when I saw it, but I remember you saying, what is Calachika? He has this amazing way that he titles his project. But I'm very impressed with this project. I'm very proud of Professor Ben Ayade for this amazing initiative which he started last year. I mean, agro-processing is one of the ways that we can definitely, increase our GDP. Adesua.
Indeed, let's not talk about the name. But it's a laudable thing that the governor has done. I mean, this will create jobs.
Correct.
And, we've talked about how industrialization, farming can be, the exceptions apart from oil. We're focusing too much on oil. And to see that this is happening in a state like this, I mean, it's encouraging.
Yes,
Best Christmas, I guess, for
yes, I love these types of encouraging stories.
Yes, Governor Ayade made a number of points that this is part of his job creation plans.
Yes.
Because a number of people, thousands of Cross Riverians are engaged in this, and also people who run poultries. And he said it's also part of the bigger agenda of industrialization. Now in Cross River, when they say, Merry Christmas, the response is Calachika. And the governor has done a very good job of promoting this freshly processed chicken. But seeing the chicken, the birds on screen and looking at it, well, I don't know. I think some of those chickens should be sent for culinary examination so that we can confirm that they are truly fresh. But the question is, you know, how do they sell this? It will be sold at a subsidized rate.
Right, that's what they said,
and it's for Christmas, some kind of Christmas thing. So will it be sustained beyond Christmas?
I'm sure.
And is there a delivery system in place so that people don't start rushing the processing centers?
Yeah.
And then again, are Cross Riverians outside Cross River, are they also,
I think I want to concentrate.
And those of us who are not Cross Riverians, how do we get
a chance? You need to.
Yes, I'm an honorary Cross Riverian. And then, of course, around this time, many people are doing this, providing food for people. In Yobe State, Governor Buni is giving out goods to 10 women in 178 wards. Well, I hope that will not be distributed on party basis. And I hope the governor of Lagos State is also looking at this.
Yes.
Maybe he will distribute cows. Who knows, for Christmas or turkey, perhaps.
Someone check on my governor as well.
Okay, you want your governor too to distribute something?
It's a great... I had to put it out there. It's for all the governors.
Dear Governor, what are you doing?